Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, my name is Kota and it's nice to meet you. I've been drawing with intent since the ripe age of 7 years old. I was one of those kids whose family members gave art supplies to when they didn't know what they get for the holidays. I was also that child with a massive ego when it came to their work compared to their peers. I thought I was so talented that I would have my work in galleries when I grew up. Since then, I've had several magnum opuses, artwork that I thought was the best and will ever create. However, after a night of resting and touching grass the next day, I'd find my work to be complete doo-doo water.
Bruh.
Now this is pretty normal for artists, finding fault in their own work. After all, they say we are our own worst critics. Back then, I used to throw away my art, before realizing the importance of keeping it. What I've learned is that keeping your art serves as good motivation. It could show how far you've come along as an artist, and help you learn from your mistakes. This is still something I do to this very day. This is also really helpful when I have art block. I can just grab an old painting of mine and redraw it. I even have a dedicated folder called Redrawworthy. And as the name suggests, it's just old artwork that I deem worthy of redemption, usually the ones with good compositions but bad execution. I scrolled through the folder to find the perfect first target, and the first victim is this guy. According to Ibis Paint, I made this back in June of 2023, which would have been about 2.5 years ago. Which doesn't seem like a long time, but I feel like I've changed a lot since then. You can tell I really wanted the focus to be the face, considering I half-assed the hand. Nice rendering on the wine glass though. In order to figure out how to improve this drawing, I need to zero in on what I want to change about it. The first thing I want to change is his facial anatomy, particularly the mouth and the ear. I'm not happy with the size of his ear, and his lips aren't exactly what I imagined for this character. The second item is his hair. I want to improve the texture and shape. I also want to breathe life back into his poorly neglected hand and fix the rest of his body while doing something differently with his clothes. Next, I want to make a better background so you get some semblance of where he is, but not in a way that'll take away from him. I still want my son to stand out. And lastly, I want to improve my values, because 2023 me wasn't brave enough to go darker with the shadows. And as far as the major changes go, that should be it. But before we get started, how about a word from our sponsor, me? I have my very own website. Here, you'll see my portfolio called the Art Gallery. It's regularly updated with my latest works, so if you want to go see more art, that's the place to go. I also have commissions open. At just $20, you can get your very own chibi profile picture. Each chibi comes with a full body design and a profile design. You can even request unique backgrounds for the chibis. I can do both fan art and original characters. All you have to do is fill out a Google form. It'll ask you questions like what's your email, your name, and today's date. Then you'll have the opportunity to list what you want and even put reference photos inside the reference box. I really had fun making these, as it's such a nice break from the semi-realistic art I do, and despite their simplicity, I think they're really cute. So if you think so too and you want to help support this channel, my website will be linked in the description box below. I started out by liquefying him to get a proper base to work on before coloring. I figured this would be way easier than drawing him from scratch and give me a better way of addressing the issues I wanted to correct. While coloring the skin especially, I make sure that there's enough blues, reds, and yellows. Not only does this help with the depth, it also adds more realism because our skin has multiple colors in it, which is exactly what I'm going for. To be honest, I don't have much to say during this segment. My process during making art is basically adding and subtracting and doing whatever feels right. This speed paint is no exception, so instead of combing through hours of footage just to figure out what I did, how about instead we talk about the character I'm drawing? This is my original character named Airi. It's a Japanese name that means love. And if you're familiar with this Japanese name in particular, you would know that it's actually a girl's name. At the time, I was like 11 or 12 when I made this character, so I actually had no idea. I saw the name in a manga and I thought it was perfect. Years later down the line, I was looking through websites to find the correct spelling of his name, but then found out the truth behind it. At that point, I was way too attached to the name, so I really don't have the heart to change it. But hey, there are plenty of well-liked male characters with feminine names, like Nanami from Jujutsu Kaisen, or Megami from Jujutsu Kaisen, or any of the free cast. A thing I like to do is associate my characters with specific flowers, but instead of going for a flower that's closely associated with the name Airi, which would be jasmine, I went with red roses instead. Both flowers have symbolism in both love and beauty, but jasmine is considered to be more pure and sensitive, while red roses can simplify burning passion and desire. And based on that description, I hope you can gauge what kind of character he is. Well, I have nothing else to add, so I'll leave you with the rest of this speed paint. Would you believe me if I told you that this took me 92 hours and 18 minutes to complete? The original one took me 11 hours and 42 minutes. I need to work better on my timing. Timing criticisms aside, the difference between them is night and day, so I think it was worth it. I'm actually quite happy about this redraw, so much so that it's worthy of being in my portfolio. However, if I could go back, I think I'd change his hand size. If you caught it during the speed paint, I used one of Ibis Paint's assets for the hands instead of redrawing it myself, and it seemed like it did me more harm than good because the hand looks way too small. Or it could literally just be me. You can let me know.
What is this? What is this? Tiny hand? So tiny!
Well, I think that concludes the video. I'd like to thank you for watching this far in. It really means a lot to me. For those of you who were here since my last video, I'd like to thank you for being patient with me. I said I was gonna post every Thursday, but here I am 4 weeks later on a Sunday, just now posting the second video. I'll admit, it takes a lot more work to edit a video than I thought it would. But hopefully as I keep going, these videos will get easier to edit, and I'll get videos out a lot faster. But for now, I'm not making any promises. I've learned my lesson. Once again, thank you very much for watching to the very end. Please like and subscribe, it would really help the channel. And if you are interested in a commission, please check the description box below for my website link. Bye!